Hello and good evening, everyone. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Glad that you are here with us this evening for a Stanley Cup Final preview edition of the Neutral Zone. Lots to get to on the show tonight. Edmonton and Florida, round 2. This is going to be a great series, a rematch of a series that went the distance a season ago. Might we be seeing that again this year? We'll have the path for how both teams got here. We've got some significant notes. We'll break down the lines for both teams. We will look at where the advantages may lie. And then ultimately, we will be picking who we think is going to be hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup here over the next 2 weeks. Lots to do, lots to get through in the show here tonight. So, without any further ado, we are going to take ourselves a quick break to hear from our sponsors, and then we will be diving in with the Stanley Cup Finals preview show here on the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, Single A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
Rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis will be along with us as well here in a little bit. But for right now, it is you and me. As we finally have it, we are set. We know the matchup. We knew the matchup a week ago. Let's be honest. We knew the matchup a week ago, but we have it finalized, formalized. We are ready to go. You heard how to follow along with the station. You can also follow along with this show on social media. We are available on Twitter at IESR Neutral Zone. You can follow along with me personally. I am at Adam_Karnick, or you can follow Zach as well. He is at the Puplis. Well, normally we'd be starting off with the scores. There are no scores. There are no scores tonight to discuss because the Stanley Cup Final is here. We have made it. We are ready to rock and roll. And if you are watching the show live tonight across Facebook or YouTube or Twitch or Twitter, hop into the comments. Let us know your predictions for this series. Edmonton versus Florida. Who do you think is going to win? How many games do you think it's going to go? Who might win the Conn Smythe? What are the things that you are going to be looking for in this series? Let us know in the comment section. Let's have some fun with this. But we talked about it a week ago. We pretty much knew what the final matchup was going to be even a week ago. The Oilers and the Panthers had such strong leads in their respective conference finals series that it just felt inevitable that we were destined for a rematch. And you know what, with a year like this, I'm okay with it because we got a terrific series out of these two teams a year ago, that to see them again this year, I'm okay with. That was incredibly entertaining hockey for 2.5 weeks that we had a season ago. 2.5 weeks of some terrific, outstanding, hard-fought hockey sounds great to go with again. Well, let's set the table a little bit here and just go over how both of these teams got here to this series, shall we? Starting with the Western Conference champions, the Edmonton Oilers. How did the Oilers get here? We know the series themselves finishing third place in the Pacific Division, so getting in as a division winner, but still having to fight an uphill battle all the way through. No home ice in any of their series through the Western Conference playoffs. For the fourth year in a row, met up with the Los Angeles Kings in the opening round. It looked like the Kings might finally have Edmonton's number, taking the first two games in that series, only for Edmonton to pull a goalie change, get the ship rightened, get things turned around, and then take the delayed sweep there, taking the final 4 games in the series to move on. Then a matchup with Las Vegas in the second round in the Pacific Division Championship round, taking 4 out of 5 there from Los Angeles, and then in the Western Conference Final, taking 4 out of 5 and absolutely stomping the Dallas Stars in Game 5. I do want to take just a moment real quickly to talk about that Game 5 between Edmonton and Dallas. What on earth was Peter DeBoer thinking, pulling Jake Ottinger like that? I understand that he was looking for a spark, that he was trying to jumpstart the team a little bit and try to get something. And when you're in an elimination game, you can't wait long. If you feel like you've got to make a move, if you feel like you've got to do something to get things going, all right, then by golly, do it, and let's get things going. But at the same time, in what universe and no offense to anybody, no offense to anybody, least of all for the backup goalie in Dallas, least of all for DeSmith, for Casey DeSmith. No offense, but in what universe does Casey DeSmith give you the better option to win over Jake Ottinger? I know Ottinger has struggled with Edmonton. I know he gave up 2 goals on the only 2 shots he faced in Game 5. But name me a goalie that hasn't struggled with the Edmonton Oilers. They give everybody fits. That's what happens when you have arguably 2 of the top 3, certainly top 5 players in the world on your team at the same time. They give you fits. They cause problems. So Peter DeBoer deciding to pull Jake Ottinger basically at the start of Game 7 and then citing afterwards that, well, he had bad stats against Edmonton, then you should have just played Casey DeSmith from the word go. If that was what you were thinking, you just shouldn't have even had Ottinger out there if you were that concerned with it. So I just had to talk about that for just a minute. But the Oilers, after dropping those first 2 games to Los Angeles, they have gone on a tear, 12-2 in their last 14 games, an impressive run for the Edmonton Oilers. And now we get to see them again here in the Stanley Cup final, and we'll see what can happen for them this go round. On the other side, of course, we've got the Florida Panthers, the reigning Stanley Cup champions, 3rd consecutive trip to the Stanley Cup Finals, 6th consecutive appearance by a Floridian team in the Stanley Cup Finals. Florida is the new state of hockey, folks. We've got to just be willing to accept that at this point. But what a run for the Panthers. And as we take a look, their march through the Eastern Conference to get here to this point. First round, a matchup, the battle for the heart of the state of Florida, Panthers versus Tampa Bay Lightning. The Panthers easily take that 4 out of 5 to advance and move on to a second round matchup with the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Maple Leafs, they finally figured out how to advance past the first round, and it looked like Toronto was going to be ready to move on to the conference final, meeting in the Atlantic Division final in the second round. Not only did the Leafs have a 2-0 lead in the series, they were up 3-1 in game 3 of the series. They led 3-1 at one point in the second period. Since then, Florida has come to life, has been lights out, has reasserted itself as one of the top 2 teams in hockey in the NHL. Took 4 out of the final 5 in that series with the Leafs. It did go to game 7. The Maple Leafs in a 7-game series are just truly an abysmal sight. Then went to Carolina, took on the Hurricanes, and made that look easy. Made that look easy in the Eastern Conference Final. 5-2, 5-0, 6-2. Did drop game 4, 3-0, and then finally won 5-3 to take the Eastern Conference. For those who keep track, for those who keep score on such things, the Florida Panthers did not touch the Prince of Wales trophy. They let it sit there on the table. The Edmonton Oilers, on the other hand, did grab the Clarence Campbell trophy in celebration, which was different from what Edmonton had done a year ago, different from what they have done in years past. But I appreciate it. I like where you're coming from with it. It's well, shoot. It didn't work we ignored it last year. We let it sit there on the table. We didn't pick it up, and we lost last year. What have we got to lose? May as well pick it up. May as well celebrate. May as well have some fun with it. So the Oilers did pick up their conference final trophy. We'll see what that means and what that equates to. Both teams coming out of third place in their respective divisions. So neither team had home ice on their path here to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. So for the Panthers, status quo for them starting on the road up in Edmonton tomorrow night. We are going to take for ourselves a quick break, and then when we return, we are going to continue to break down this matchup, the rematch between the Oilers and the Panthers. It starts in less than 24 hours. We will get you set up and ready for it right here on the Neutral Zone, part of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Davidson.
It's your boy, Notorious Live.
And we are the hosts of Fast Break here on IE Sports Radio, where we discuss everything in the world of basketball from prep to the pros.
You guys should definitely check us out, man. Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. We got all the basketball information you guys need, so we look forward to you guys listening in.
And please do, because we are the best basketball show on this side of the Mississippi. And please do check us out on Twitter at FastBreakISR. D-Lock, where's our time again?
8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. That give you guys plenty of time on a Sunday.
Tune in.
everybody? This is Taryn Rodriguez. Are you a fan of volleyball? Are you a fan of Thunder Spikes? Then I have the show for you, Set Point, where I cover NCAA men's and women's volleyball, high school boys and girls volleyball, beach volleyball, and even professional volleyball. Catch the action every week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Kernick here with you. We are getting you ready for the Stanley Cup Finals. We are about, 22 and a half hours or so away for let's face it, the way hockey works, we're about 23 hours away from puck drop at this point. We all know the matchup at this point. So before we dive into the specifics for each team, just some kind of general news and notes. Obviously, it's a rematch from a season ago. This is the 12th time in NHL history that we've had a rematch from the previous season in the Stanley Cup Finals. This is the 8th time since the expansion era, which officially that started in 1967 when the NHL started getting out into new markets. So just the 8th time in the last 60 years, effectively, that we have had a rematch from the year prior. So some news and notes there. Some other significant play, and the most recent rematch that we had for the Stanley Cup Final was just a little over 15 years ago in 2008, and then again in 2009. We had the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings meet in back-to-back seasons. Sidney Crosby won his first Stanley Cup Final, his first championship as a member of those Penguins. It took him the second time around in 2009 was when he won that. Another interesting note there from that, of course, you had Marian Hossa, who played on both teams, the Penguins and the Red Wings, and managed to have the miserable, horrible, rotten luck of appearing on the wrong side both times in that rematch. We don't have anything like that this year. We didn't have any players going from Florida to Edmonton or vice versa this go around, but an interesting note there. For Connor McDavid, if the Oilers were to win this one, he would be following in the footsteps of players like Sidney Crosby and Wayne Gretzky, who failed to win in their first Cup Final, only to then appear in the Cup Final again the following season and then win it. So history might be on the side of the Oilers there with that. We'll be discussing that a little bit later. And we'll look, wanted to pull up, and I may have, there we go. I was going to say, I was trying to find the results of some of the previous times of finals. We had in 68 and 69, Montreal and St. Louis met in both of those finals. The Canadiens took both of those. Then you had the Canadiens and the Bruins meeting in 77 and 78. And then the Islanders and the Oilers meeting in 83 and 84 as one dynasty was basically passing the torch, passing the baton onto the other. The Islanders winning in 83 and then the Oilers winning in 84. And we brought up the Red Wings and the Penguins as well. So those are some some significant numbers of some significant rematches in the NHL's history. So we've got some of those there. But let's dive in to some of the specifics here on this one, shall we? For the Oilers, specifically, some keys and some major things that we've got to have going in order for Edmonton to pull this off and win this. For me, it starts and stops in net. Stuart Skinner has absolutely got to be at the top of his game. He has been so topsy-turvy this postseason. Overall, his numbers on the year here in the postseason have been so crazy. You have games where you have games where he's absolutely looking like one of the worst goalies in the game, and then you have games where he's absolutely playing out of his mind and is one of the best goalies ever. He's got a goals against average of 2.53, which is good enough to be to place him ninth this season overall. Now you've got obviously some different qualifiers there. You've got some different goalies that obviously haven't played as much, but the swings with him have just been so up and down with him. You have games where he gives up 6 goals and he can barely make 80% of the saves, and then he has back-to-back shutouts when he comes back. Let's not forget he got benched for Cal Pickard, and the only reason that he comes back out in that series for against Los Angeles is because Pickard got hurt. If Pickard never gets hurt in that first round matchup against the Kings, we don't see this at all. I think Skinner would have been riding the bench the whole rest of the way. I don't think they would have turned it back over. It was purely and simply due to injury that we even had this come. But give Skinner credit for a job well done, for making it happen once he got in there. Some other keys for the Oilers. You're going to need depth. You're going to need a third person to pop in. Oh, hello, Ralph. Ralph Calise joining us. Good evening. It is going to be an excellent Stanley Cup final. And hello also to Brian Francione saying hello. Good evening, guys. Feel free to drop us any predictions you have for the upcoming series into the comments, whether you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. Let us know what you expect from this series. What you think, who do you think is going to win? Who do you think the key players are going to be? How long do you think it's going to go? Let us know any predictions you've got for this series. A key for the Oilers as well, you're going to need depth. You're going to need, obviously, McDavid and Draisaitl. You know that those two guys are going to get the job done and are going to give you terrific play and are going to make otherworldly plays and are just going to give you everything you could possibly hope for in a series, in a Stanley Cup final. All the great things that you'd be hoping for. But you're going to need a depth piece, whether that's Evander Kane, whether that's Evander Kane, whether that's whether that's going to be Ryan Nugent Hopkins, who is it going to be Corey Perry? Who's going to be that guy that's going to step up and be the extra problem for Florida out there? Another key for me, if you're Edmonton, you've got to play hot potato. You've got to play hot potato with the puck. Florida's defense is suffocating. They are so good at taking away what you do best and punishing you. Paul Maurice is an outstanding coach, and he drills it into the players. There was the great clip from the Eastern Conference Finals where he is just screaming and cursing out his players to tell them they've got to keep the intensity up. They've got to keep the intensity up. And he's, F-bombs galore. And he at one point, he yells at him, F the plays. F the plays. I want you punishing them. I want them to feel it come game 7. Of course, against the Hurricanes, it never got that far, but that's the mentality there. So if you're the Oilers, you have got to keep the puck moving. Yes, you've got some of the fastest skaters in the game. Yes, you've got some all-world beaters in McDavid and Draisaitl. For the rest of you, keep it moving. Understand where you are in the system, understand where you are in the offense, and keep the puck moving. Don't let Florida settle into a scheme defensively. That is how you'll be able to generate some great chances. Both of these teams have been excellent at getting the puck into high scoring areas. Both of these teams are in the top 2 in the postseason in getting the puck into the high danger areas. Edmonton has been the best team in these playoffs as getting the puck in deep, what would be considered the high danger areas by NHL stats. Basically the areas where it's just the hardest for the goalie or the defense to make a save. If you're Edmonton, you've got to keep the puck moving so that you're able then to catch Florida's defense out of it. They're not going to be out of position very often. So you've got to be ready, keep that puck moving. And when you do, inevitably, because eventually a defense will break down. Just like in football, there's no defending the perfect pass. The same holds true in hockey. If you can keep moving that puck tape to tape, get it moving, eventually you will catch Florida out of position on defense and then be able to get one of those high danger chances and test Bobrovsky and get some past him. Those are my biggest keys and most important things for Edmonton looking into this series. Now let's flip the script a little bit here. Now let's take a look and go at it from the Florida perspective. And I see people making their comments and predictions over in the comment section. That's great. Keep them coming. I will be showing those. We'll show those in the final segment, some of the comments and predictions, but please keep them moving, keep them coming. I love seeing them. Ralph Calise, the Paul Maurice clip. Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah. It's you can feel the energy and the passion coming off of him with that clip. It was outstanding. It was great stuff. So for the Panthers, what do the Panthers have to do in this series? Well, a lot of the keys that we were talking about there with Edmonton just don't allow, a lot of it is just don't allow Edmonton to do those things. The Panthers are deeper. Now, some of that is some of that is a byproduct of Edmonton having, when you have guys like McDavid and Draisaitl, who are at the bare minimum, two of the 5 best players in the game right now, naturally you're going to have a steeper drop off in the quality of the rest of your roster. That's just inevitable. It's not Edmonton's fault. Not everybody can be. It's Ken hopping in. Hello, Ken, watching on Twitter. He's got his prediction in there. Yeah, we'll get into some of those here in a little bit, but I like seeing you there. Thank you for hopping in and tuning in. I appreciate it. So when I say that when the Panthers roster is deeper, when they're able to roll 4 lines more easily, that does come with a caveat that it doesn't really matter who else you would put on the roster for the Oilers. There's going to be a significant drop off from the first line to the second line because the first line is McDavid and Draisaitl. At the same time, what you get from the Panthers from line 1 to line 4 is an endless barrage, a wave of nasty and relentless energy and passion and fortitude. They know what they're doing. They know their system. They know they know where they're supposed to be and when they're supposed to be there. They know that, oh, my guy's over there, therefore I need to be here. Oh, they've crashed him into the boards, then I've got to be back here to prevent a jailbreak. They're so good at keeping the puck out of the middle of the ice. And all 4 of their lines are able to do that. All 3 of their defensive pairings are able to do that with skill and precision. Continue to do that. Force Edmonton to keep the puck to the outside. Do not let them in between the face-off circles. Do not let them between the dots. Keep everything between the wall and the dot if you're Florida. Alexander Barkov, he is almost certainly the best two-way forward in the game right now. I don't think there'll be too many people that would argue that point with me. You've got some other great ones for sure, but Barkov is right there. Is right there at the top. Follow his lead there with that. But then still guys like Verhaeghe and Sam Bennett who are absolutely contributing. You know, we talk about how skilled Edmonton is. The Panthers actually have more players with double-digit points in the playoffs right now than the Oilers do. So they can absolutely run all those lines deep. Do not let Edmonton get into a rhythm. Stay on the forecheck. All the things that Florida just does and does so well. I mentioned that Edmonton has the most, what would be considered a high danger opportunity, where you're getting the puck in right in front of the goalie and getting a shot. And catch this, Edmonton has the most, but Florida, first of all, the Panthers are second on the list. They're behind by 23. Edmonton has 146 high danger shot opportunities. The Panthers have 123. The Panthers have been more successful. They have scored on 39 of those high danger chances. And with a goalie like Skinner in net, test him. Let's see if the glass slipper fits Skinner or if he's going to turn back into a pumpkin. My estimation, my guesstimation there on that is you test Skinner enough, you punish him enough, he's going to let in those goals. He's going to let the puck get behind him, especially if you're able to consistently put a barrage in front of him. And the Panthers have been really good at doing this. Florida is also the best penalty killing unit in the NHL in these playoffs. You're going to need that. I wouldn't test. First of all, if I'm Florida, I wouldn't test that. Don't give Edmonton too many power play opportunities. They will wreck your average real fast, really quick on that. Edmonton, they've been converting at a 30% clip on their power play in these playoffs, whereas the Panthers are getting the kill 88%, just under 88% of the time. Best penalty kill in the NHL playoffs this year. I wouldn't test that though. I would make it a habit. Stay out of the box if you're Florida. That's not so much a Florida thing. That's a knowing your opponent thing. Play hard, play physical, but play disciplined. Don't get into the box, because you give the Oilers too many opportunities in the box, and you give the Oilers too many opportunities with an extra man, or heaven forbid, 2 extra men, and this could turn real ugly really fast for Florida. So those are my big keys and my big takeaways for the Panthers. We're going to take one more quick break, and then we're going to make some predictions about this series. If you are watching live across Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, now is the time. Get your predictions in. Who do you think is going to win the series? How many games do you think it's going to go? Who might win the Conn Smythe Trophy? Who's going to be the first person to get the Stanley Cup after the team captain? All those, any kind of predictions like that. What crazy thing might happen in this series? Is anybody going to get sick to death of all the travel? All those crazy things. We will discuss that next here on the Neutral Zone, part of IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We'll be right back after this.
Hello, sports fans. It's me, your boy Larry B, and I want to walk you through the world of sports. No, not just the mainstream major TV deal type sports, although those are important too. But let me be your guide to your journey of all sports, from college to the pros, the minors, and everything in between. Each week, we are talking sports galore with true diehards just like you from a hardcore fan's perspective that's sure to quench your thirst around leagues you may know all too well and some you may even discover here. That's right, sports fans. If you love sports of all kinds, enjoy hearing amazing sports stories, and respect all sports because you know how difficult any of them can be to play or compete in, then this is your show. Join me, your boy Larry B, on the defining moment each week here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports, and let the sports come to you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Daryl Kinsey Jr., and I'm welcoming you to take another lap with the fastest show on IE Sports Radio. Yes, this is the Extra Mile with me and my co-hosts Christopher Lehman and Michael Ward. We talk everything racing from NASCAR to IndyCar to Formula One to limited hydroplanes, endurance racing, the NHRA, and more. So come join us for an hour of great racing talk and a lot of fun as well on the Extra Mile, Thursdays at 8 p.m. only on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Kernick with you here for, another roughly 10 minutes or so as we are getting ready for the Stanley Cup Finals. Tomorrow is the night. Watching it across TNT here in the United States, or of course across TSN if you are up north over the border into Canada. Every single game is going to be at an 8. It will have a scheduled 8 o'clock Eastern start time, though we all know from watching hockey, what that really means is as long as the game starts by 8:20 Eastern time, it is started on time. So with the game, with just as last year, with these two teams being as far away from each other as you can get in two NHL cities, they have built in some extra time into the calendar, just like they did a week ago. So the full calendar for the Stanley Cup Final is as follows. Of course, game 1 is tomorrow night. Game 2 will be Friday. Then the extra day off for when the series shifts down to sunrise in Florida. Game 3 will be Monday night. So no games over the weekend, unfortunately. Then we'll be right back here Tuesday night to recap those first 3 games, let you know what we've thought of the series to this point and what changes might be ahead for the two teams, what's working well, what's working poorly, what needs to be addressed, etc., etc. Then another 2-day break right away after that. So after game 1 and 2, right away back to back, we have a grand total of 1 game in a span of about 5 days. We play 1 game, just Monday night only next week. Then Thursday night will be game 4 in Florida. Then a quick turnaround for game 5, as that's going to be Saturday night. So they'll get done. They'll get done on Thursday night, head right to the airport and make the long flight back to Edmonton so that they can play on Saturday night. Then game 6 would be Tuesday, June 17th would be game 6 if we need it, followed then with another 2-day break if we need it. If the game goes the full 7, game 7 would be Friday, June 20th. If we do indeed, just a little programming note and a programming aside, if indeed we do need that game 6 on Tuesday the 17th, which I'd expect that we're going to need that game 6 here 2 weeks from tonight. Neutral Zone will not be on at its regular time. We did this last year as well. We waited for, I forget which game it was. I think it was game 4, game 5. I don't remember. It doesn't matter which, but we will delay the start of our show to line up and match up with the ending of game 6, should it come to that. I would expect that it would come to that here in this series. Speaking of predictions, that sounded a little bit like one, didn't it? Let's get into some predictions a little bit, shall we? And if you're watching the show live, don't be shy. Let us know what you think is going to happen in this series. We've got a couple of predictions in here already. Ralph Calise, watching over on YouTube, he's kind of waffling a little bit. At first, he was going to take the Oilers in 7, but now he feels like the Panthers have the winning advantage, going to be taking this series. I would imagine Ralph is still expecting that this will go in 7. And then Ken, watching on Twitter, he's got the Panthers repeating as well. So in the chat room, so far we're seeing love for the Panthers in it. We'll look at this a couple of ways. First of all, if the Oilers win, then I think it will be because Stuart Skinner continues on his tremendous streak that he's been on since coming back from being benched, and had a terrific series against the Stars. Back-to-back shutouts, played incredibly well against Dallas in the Western Conference Final. I think if Edmonton wins, it'll be because of Skinner's play, but I think Connor McDavid winds up with the Conn Smythe Trophy should Edmonton take this series. Connor, McDavid, he's the leading scorer in the NHL playoffs right now. He's got 26, 27 points right in there to this point through the playoffs. You know that he's going to average a point a night in this series. He remembers how last year went, where he was blanked off the scoreboard in the final two games a year ago in this series. He's not going to want a repeat of that. He won the Conn Smythe with Edmonton losing last year. Now he'll get an opportunity to win it as Edmonton wins the Cup final. Should that happen in that scenario, in that version of events. I feel like if Edmonton wins, then this will be a shorter series. I don't think we're looking for a sweep in either direction. I think 4 games is ridiculous and totally out of the question. I think if Edmonton wins this, it'll be a 5-game or 6-game series at the longest, at the latest. I don't think it goes any longer than 6 if Edmonton wins. If Florida wins, I think we're looking at Sergei Bobrovsky for the Conn Smythe. He has been terrific in net all playoffs long. He's done very well. He has started every single game for the Panthers this postseason. He has played incredibly well. You know that he's going to have to make some incredible saves in this series. In this postseason, he's 12-5 with a .211 goals against average, a .912 save percentage, and 3 shutouts in his 17 starts. Just like we talked about, Skinner has been playing so incredibly well. Bobrovsky also, since the middle of the second round, listen to these numbers. The last 9 playoff games, he has a 1.34 goals against average and a .944 save percentage. So I think if the Panthers win, then I think Bobrovsky will get the Conn Smythe Trophy. If this series goes long, 6, 7 games, I think that favors Florida just like we saw last year, where that wave after wave and that punishing style that they play will just overwhelm and frustrate and annihilate an opponent. So the deeper this series goes, the more I like Florida to win it. Overall, I think, last year we had stretches of dominance from both teams. Florida took the first 3, only for Edmonton to turn around and take 4 through 6. And then we got an amazing finish in game 7 with Florida winning. I think it's a little more back and forth this year. I think we'll see a little bit more back and forth. I think, for example, we'll be tied at 2 after 4 games. I think we'll know that we'll be heading to game 6. My prediction, it's going to go 7 games, and I see the Florida Panthers repeating as Stanley Cup champions and taking it in 7 games. That is going to do it for our show here this evening. Big shout out and thank you to each and every one of our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Go to planetjerky.net to place your order. They are still offering free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. It's worth it. You'll enjoy it. You'll like it. Thank you also to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com, use the promo code IESR at checkout and get 15% off of your gym wear order. You will appreciate it, and you'll be able to work out knowing that you help with mental health research as well. Thank you also to Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. Let's face it, you're still sending out mail. You've got invitations, you've got summer parties, you've got trips, you've got postcards that you're sending out. May as well give it that stamp of approval. Let everybody know as soon as they open up the mailbox and see that, oh yeah, there's that seal on the back. I know who sent this to me. Go to iesportsradio.com/seal the deal wax seals, and Cecilia will help you personalize and create your very own personalized seal of approval. And thank you, of course, to IE Sports Radio for providing the platform that allows this show to be possible. Thank you to Larry B., the czar and overlord of all things IE Sports Radio, for all the hard work you're doing behind the scenes, good sir. It does not go unnoticed, nor is it unappreciated. Thank you to everybody that was hanging out in the chat room with us tonight. Brian Francione, Ralph Calise, Ken DeBears fan. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thank you to everybody that was watching live tonight across Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you to everyone that was watching after the fact on YouTube as well. Don't want to forget about you. Thank you for making this show part of your weekly routine. I appreciate it very, very much. Next week, we'll be right back here breaking down the first 3 games of the Stanley Cup Final. We'll also have draft stuff going on as well for the PWHL. We will see you then. Have a great week, everybody. Enjoy the hockey.